Now let's look at the selection of steps to be a first aider. So, to be a first aider, there are several factors that should be taken into account before someone is fulfilled to be a first aider. Number one, being reliable, having a gentle disposition and good communication skills. Now that is a very important factor to be considered. The person who is likely going to be the first aider should be reliable person, should be gentle, and should have the disposition and a good communication skills. So all these skills must be combined together to this person in order for him to be able to do his responsibilities well as a first aider. Number two, the person should have awareness of their own limitation and limitation of their training. Now, the first aider is only required to provide assistance to a sick person or an injured person. And therefore, the person who has been appointed or the person who will be appointed should be aware of his own limitation. And if you do not have, or the person doesn't have this professionalism, then he should be aware of the limit of his training and what he can do and what he should never do. Number three, having the aptitude and ability to absorb new knowledge and learn new skills. So, as a first aider, you should be in a position to accept new knowledge and improve your skills. If you have this kind of attitude, then, or aptitude, if you have this kind of aptitude and ability to allow new knowledge and use it and even continue improvement, then you become a good first aider. Number four is having the ability to cope with the stressful situation and to accept the responsibilities. Being a first aider is not a small deal. You have to have the capability to absorb stress and to withstand the responsibilities that you have been given. Sometimes you are dealing with sick people who are not friendly enough, especially when you are treating them, especially if you are giving them assistance. Some of the people are not simple enough. So with the situation whereby you are going to face big injuries and you're going to face a situation where someone is at its low, someone is at his low situation, you have to be capable to absorb the stress and to cope up with the stress and to accept this kind of responsibilities. So, in other terms, no one should force you to be a first aider, but you should be in a position to accept the responsibilities. Next, the first aider should be physical enough to be able to handle or to deal with the demanding nature of the responsibility of a first aid or a first aider. Remember, sometimes you need to carry people who have been injured from where they have been injured to the first aid areas where it is being provided. By so doing, the physical nature of the person is a factor to be considered before he can be a good first aider. Another factor is consideration of the need for the first aiders, considering gender, ethnicity, and religious conviction. Now, here is another factor very important. As a first aider, you should be a person who will be should be a person who can consider the ethnicity of different cultures. Should be able to should be a person that can accept and cope up with the different ethnicity. being a culture, the language, the religious factors, and even the gender. So this responsibilities is going to deal with the different people of different culture, different religion, and different genders. So you should be a person who can be able to absorb and be able to understand different people and be able to understand different people with their different understanding in their religions and cultures. So if you get a Muslim, you will know how a Muslim behave. If it's a Muslim woman, you know they normally cover themselves. So you don't have to just go directly and uncover their bodies without any permission. Most of the times you'll have to seek for permission before you give the assistance. If you get a Christian, they have their own rules, and if you get different genders, like men, women, children, they behave differently, and you should be in a position to cope up with all these conditions. Next, the person's normal duties should be such that they can leave their duties work immediately at any time to attend to an emergency. So, the person who is going to be appointed or nominated as a first aider, his responsibility in the workplace should be in a way that in case of an emergency that he is required to attend and provide the necessary assistance, he should leave the workplace without any issues that are going to happen. So his work condition, his duties and responsibilities should not restrict him from leaving the workplaces. For example, if the first aider is operating a machine, and the machine is a very critical machine whereby you cannot just stop it within 2 minutes. So this person cannot fit to be the first aider, because by the time we expect him to provide assistance to a sick person, he is required to stop the machine, which will take long before it stops. And to prevent any safety issues, for safety reasons, he cannot leave the machine running. So the person who is the work and the nature of the work, so the nature of the work of the first aider should be in a way that can cope up with the responsibility of a first aider. And this will mark the end of our video today, and let's meet in our